Was there not some piece of you, because you're obviously extremely bright, that said, you know, now that I've made this money, I'm going to safeguard at least some little chunk of it to have a safety net should my risks that I take not work out? How'd that not occur to you after a couple times?
Well, I would say it occurred to me after 4 or 5 times. Why didn't it occur to me after the first time going broke? I don't know. Why did it not occur to me after the second time? I have no idea. Why did it not occur to me after the third time? After the fourth time? I have no idea.
So now there had to be a blind spot somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So now the theme of the series is wealth breakthrough. What was your wealth breakthrough? So was it discovering the 4 things, or what was it?
The wealth breakthrough was that no matter what is happening, physical, emotional, creative, spiritual, 1% better each day of those 4 bodies. And I know that sounds almost simplistic, and I'm not mentioning money in that explanation, but I'll tell you a story.
Yes.
So there was one time I was involved in a company, it's a billion revenue company, and I was advising them, and I had shares, and we were doing great. We were growing revenues, and I had $9 million worth of stock in this company. So I'm on the set of the series premiere of the TV show Billions. You know this TV show Billions,
sure.
On Showtime?
Big fan.
So in season 3, I was an advisor for the show, but this was before Showtime had even picked it up. They were filming the first episode, the series premiere, had never been on the air, and I had never seen a TV show. Despite my years at HBO, I'd never really seen a whole episode of a show being filmed. And I went out to New Jersey where they had mocked up this fake hedge fund, and one of my favorite directors was directing the episode, Neil Berger, who had directed Limitless and some other stuff. And so I was asking tons of questions. I was fascinated. And then in the middle of the day, I get a phone call, emergency board meeting in 15 minutes. And so I excused myself, went out into the parking lot, and I thought, this is amazing. The only way this could be an emergency board meeting is we got an offer to sell the company, and I'm going to finally be able to cash out of this $9 million worth of stock. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be the best day of my life. Get on the board meeting, and the CEO says, listen, I have some news. Our largest shareholder, he just disclosed to us he owes $90 million in back taxes to the IRS. That goes in default of our debt agreement with the bank. The bank is on their way over right now. They're going to kick us out and lock the doors, and they're going to basically divide up the company into regions and sell each region to, they had millions of customers. They had customers like my company. Mm-hmm. They were going to sell for $1 or to get their money back. They were going to sell each region to a different one of their customers for almost nothing. Mm-hmm. And I instantly kicked into gear. I've been building my creative muscles for years. So I just started going through it like, I'll buy the company before they get to the door. I didn't have the money, doesn't matter. Ready, fire, aim was my policy. I'll say I'll buy the company, I'll make 20 calls and I'll find the money. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, they're on their way over, it's too late. And I said, how about we sell some of the regions and I'll make the calls to other companies. We'll sell and we'll raise back their debt. We only owed them a small amount of debt, and they're like, no, all the competitors are already got the call from them. They're going to be able to buy our company for nothing. And came up with 10 ideas right there on the call, and they were laughing even though their lives were all going down the drain. They're like, James, all the ideas are good, but it's just a done deal. It's over. Mm-hmm. So I get off the call, and that was it. I had just lost in that 15 minutes $9 million. But I don't count this as one of the times I went broke, even though it's pretty close. That was like the bulk of what I had been working on. And then I'm sitting there in the middle of New Jersey. There's 9 hours left of shooting on this episode. I have no way of getting home unless I call a cab or something. And then what was I going to do at home? I was just going to get depressed. So I just went back in there and enjoyed the rest of the day. I was learning how to make a TV show. This was like a dream of mine, and I loved the show even before it had ever aired. And the writers later told me, a year later, I explained what had happened that day, and they were like, are you kidding me? We thought you had just, were in the bathroom for a really long time. You were back asking questions for the rest of the day. You stayed till you were the last person to leave. We didn't think anything was going on. And that's because at that point, I had built up the fortitude, eating healthy, being healthy, emotionally being around people I loved and who loved me, being as creative as possible every day. I had no control over this situation, so I didn't allow myself to obsess over it. I did have control over how I was going to enjoy the rest of the day, so I made the most of the rest of the day rather than just go home and cry in the fetal position, which would have been my default years earlier. And was it bad for me? Yes, but then I knew, okay, I'll just sit down again, be creative, and I'll come up with more ideas, and I'll see what other businesses I'm involved in that I could hit the accelerator on maybe to make an income, all right, a little bit more, all right, to keep myself going while I rebuild. And so by that point, I don't, and like I said, I don't even consider that one of those times where I went broke. That was just part of the process. I even thought to myself, getting off that call, this is now an opportunity to really test that this method works for me.
Yeah.
And I just focused it as that. But again, I kind of always viewed these four bodies in a completely different way, almost like my own personal religion.
You aren't stuck. There is something you can do to claim the life you want. Wealth breakthroughs can change everything. Yours is waiting. For the first time ever, Mastering Wealth is about to go from hard to easy with Wealth Breakthroughs.